We are now joined, our leadoff guest, by two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter, journalist, and best-selling author Bob Woodward. We'll show the book again, War. Bob, I'm thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Much to get into. I'm going to read some passages from the book, but right there today, you couldn't have known, we couldn't have known, that your reporting is being quoted by the vice president as part of the contrast that she says is at the heart of the homestretch of this campaign. Tell us what you think. She's quoting Milley through your book accurately. What does this mean right now?
Well, it's mixed up in the political campaign. But what I really think, having spent a couple of years on this book and this research, that to understand Donald Trump, you need to understand Putin. Because Trump is in this race to embrace and adore Putin. Now, who is Putin? Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, is the Adolf Hitler of our century. What Putin has launched and sustained is the most brutal war into Ukraine to slaughter and kill. Hundreds of thousands of people have died. Ukraine has held on. United States, many other democracies have supported that. But why is Putin so concerned that he should have Ukraine? He has said things, he has written things which make your head spin. Ukraine doesn't exist, he says. It's ours. Well, it's not.
Let me pull up a quote. I'm talking to my producers in the control room. Sure. Let's pull up the Putin part. We had other parts I was going to read from, but we'll go to Putin. You say this matters, and you've just spent time reporting on both what Trump did vis-a-vis Putin during and after his time in office, as well as how the Biden administration prepared for that. I want to talk about one thing that already made big headlines, which was you broke the story that then President Trump secretly sent Putin these COVID tests early in the pandemic. Americans needed them. And basically, the men grasped how bad this would look in America. You write that Putin told Trump, quote, "Please don't tell anybody you sent these to me. I don't want you to tell anybody. People will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me." This is from the foreign policy parts of the book, and we should note, Bob, it builds on some of your past interviews from the last book, Trump's effort to minimize COVID against the facts and his own experts.
Let it be known it was a problem 2 months earlier. I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down because I don't want to create a panic.
Trump's favor to Putin's unusual. The two also have been secretly speaking to each other since he left office. As many as 7 calls. That's certainly a contrast to Reagan or other Republicans who treated Russia more like an adversary. And these are the kind of revelations that drive newsmaking questions. Bob Woodward is with us. Donald Trump was just asked about Woodward's reporting. He says he wouldn't comment, but argued if he talks to Putin, it is smart.
Can you say yes or no whether you have talked to Vladimir Putin since you stopped being president?
Well, I don't comment on that, but I will tell you that if I did, it's a smart thing.
Bob?
Yeah, that it's smart for a presidential candidate, a former president, to be engaged in this political love affair with Putin, where I go back, what's Putin done? His assault and attack on Ukraine is the biggest war going on in the world right now. It is a threat because Ukraine is a democracy. Just look at the geography of it. If Ukraine goes, if Russia takes Ukraine, and talk to the president of Poland, Duda, and Duda says, look at the map. If they take Ukraine, that becomes part of Russia. We're next. We have a 300-plus mile border with them. And as he pointed out, last war, we got it from Germany, the other side. Now we're going to get it from this side.
Yeah, and let's go to the Biden-Harris response on that, because in your books, one of the reasons they stand up to time and seem to be sturdy is you talk to people, and then you talk to people who talk to people. So you sort of surround, right? There's a lot of reporting where people say, I got two sources, I'm going with it, or I got this quote. You surround the Biden presidency in the book, and you report that President Biden, told a trusted friend that the Obama-Biden administration kind of blew it with Putin. That's new reporting. That's pretty striking. What does that mean? Why does that matter?
Well, I mean, he literally says, Biden says, Barack did not understand Putin, because what happened during the Barack Obama presidency, the Russians took Crimea, they took some of the Donbass, and it was just like, oh, walk right in. We're not going to get involved on this. And this is Joe Biden saying, this contract that they have of you can go do anything. He said to an associate, President Biden did, I am revoking their effing opportunity, their license to go in and just take other countries.
Yeah.
This is what this is about. This is not just one side saying, oh, let's have a minor war. This is, we're going to take your whole country.
Yeah,
we're going to try.
It's whether there is any world order or not. And in Europe, a place that's been combustible, as promised, we cut up the book a little bit, Bob. So I want to.
I'm sorry.
It's good. I want to go back into it on the Ukraine part.
I
You have Biden and Harris, who both recently met with Ukraine's leader, even in the campaign homestretch. In the Woodward book, we see reporting about the idea that Putin viewed the Afghanistan withdrawal as a kind of U.S. weakness, that Ukraine was barely discussed when Biden and Putin first met in 21. That was under a year inside of what we now know was this invasion. Some asking if a failure to focus on Ukraine then was a big mistake. Then about 4 months out, you had U.S. intel start to detect that Russia wanted to move. You have the exchange I mentioned to you, Bob, where basically you report Biden saying we effed it up. Obama never took Putin seriously. We gave him a license to continue. And then I'm revoking his blanking license. We've blanked it on TV, Bob. You note that Harris met with European leaders dealing with the gravity of the situation. She met with, of course, Zelensky days out in a final push to try to deal with Putin's threat and also look at what could be a serious invasion. Famously, some allies of Ukraine offered him, a flight out. He didn't take it, in the ultimate courage of a leader. And then you write that she spoke out, and what you said was, and we'll hear a bit of it, possibly the best speech of her vice presidency.
Not since the end of the Cold War has this forum convened under such dire circumstances. It takes a lot more strength to build something up than it takes to tear something down.
What did your reporting find out about her work as vice president, and how do you view her as a potential president?
She is going to president school now, and that is a crash course, even though she's had years of experience, and she clearly is learning. I have scenes in the book which are very vivid, where she comes out and states her own view on some of these things independently of Biden. So she's going to school, going to crash graduate school, and there are lots of good signs.
Here's a big one I want to ask you. I don't know if you can answer it. What would the Biden doctrine have turned out to be based on what you found, and is there a Harris doctrine?
Well, I don't like the idea of you reduce it to a doctrine, because it's moments of decision, debate, and so forth. Harris shows signs of toughness. She has staff is so important. You're producers. You can only do the show because of them, right?
I don't want to go off tilt here, but you've met some of them. We're very lucky to have some incredible producers.
Yes, and Kamala Harris, the vice president, has a national security advisor named Philip Gordon. Philip Gordon is somebody who worked in even the Clinton White House or State Department, worked in the National Security Council for Obama, has incredible experience. No, I mean, he is somebody qualified to be National Security Advisor. Now, compare it, because we are in an election. Who is Donald Trump's National Security Advisor? His mouth. Not kidding.
Okay.
Whatever comes out.
Right.
And you compare that, the failure of Trump to have a team. Got to have a team. Everyone knows that. It's Trump's mouth. It's Trump's impulse.